In a world where the medieval and cyberpunk collide, the protagonist, a mysterious figure clad in a hooded tunic, navigates the bustling city streets. His youthful face and sharp jawline remain obscured as he pursues a gentleman through the urban chaos. The man eventually enters a pub, and the protagonist follows, ordering a meager meal from the bar while keeping an eye on his target. Between bites, the protagonist discreetly operates his forearm-based tablet, deploying nano-roamers that crawl up the wall and across the room. This action catches the attention of a nearby patron who raises an eyebrow but says nothing. The protagonist's Mark engages in seemingly innocuous conversation with others at his table, but the nano-roamers reveal a hidden layer of communication. The group's members possess encrypted vocal cord implants, known as crypto chatter, that allow them to communicate covertly. By uttering contextually appropriate words that carry a double meaning, they can converse privately in public settings. The protagonist's nano-roamers intercept this conversation, and he learns that the group plans to meet later in a desolate area called the Wastelands. The group becomes aware of a potential eavesdropper, scanning the room for any suspicious figures. They ultimately dismiss their concerns, leaving the pub in haste. The protagonist recalls his nano-roamers and exits the pub shortly after his mark, only to be confronted by the man who had noticed him earlier. As the man who noticed the protagonist earlier exits the pub under the pretext of needing to use the restroom, the protagonist quickly creates a makeshift disguise with discarded boxes. He pretends to be a beggar, asking the man for credits. In one fluid motion, the protagonist stands up, wraps an arm around the man's neck, and holds a vibe dagger to his gut. With a menacing growl, he demands to know the man's intentions. The stranger, terrified, claims he only wanted to rob the protagonist, hoping to get his hands on the expensive nano-roamers. The protagonist's grip tightened around the stranger's throat, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. He studied the man's face for any sign of deceit or any indication that he knew more than he let on. The stranger's eyes darted nervously, beads of sweat forming on his forehead as he gasped for breath. Satisfied with the answer, and detecting the smell of fresh urine from the frightened man. "Fine," the protagonist growled, releasing his grip and allowing the man to collapse onto the ground, coughing and wheezing. "Get out of my sight, and if I ever see you again, I won't be so merciful." The stranger scrambled to his feet, mumbling his thanks and apologies as he stumbled away, disappearing into the crowd. The protagonist took a moment to gather himself before blending back into the throngs of people in the busy city. He couldn't afford any distractions. He had to find his mark and uncover the truth. With his forearm tablet guiding him, he made his way toward the Wastelands, his every movement fluid and precise, like a predator stalking its prey. The Wastelands were a desolate expanse, a barren landscape filled with abandoned structures and remnants of past conflicts. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the protagonist arrived at a dilapidated building, its cracked walls and broken windows a testament to the harshness of the world. Inside, the Mark and his associates gathered around a holographic map, their hushed voices discussing plans and tactics. The protagonist listened carefully, his nano-roamers capturing the encrypted implant conversations, known as crypto chatter, and sending the information back to his forearm tablet. Through the course of their conversation, the protagonist discovers that the group is discussing an object of great power. They mentioned a city he had never heard of before. He qued his arm tablet to start background research using his guild's archives and referenced in the city while they continued to speak. They described an earthen mound which sounded to be the entrance to the first stage of their journey. As the group continued to discuss the earthen mound in hushed tones, their expressions were a mix of excitement and concern. It was clear they knew of the potential dangers that lay within, yet they seemed eager to uncover the secrets that the mound concealed. The protagonist focused intently on their conversation, trying to gather as much information as possible without giving away his presence. The group described the mound's peculiar structure and the way it seemed to defy the natural landscape. They spoke of local legends and whispers about the entrance to a labyrinthine tunnel system designed to confuse and trap the unwary. However, they were careful not to reveal too much, leaving the protagonist curious and wanting to learn more about this mysterious place. The holographic map displayed the mound's location within the wastelands, and the group members debated the best approach to reach it. They spoke of potential traps and obstacles that they might face along the way, indicating that they were well prepared and well informed. The protagonist knew he would need to be vigilant and resourceful if he was to follow them and uncover the truth. The Mark's associates seemed to grow increasingly restless, as if they sensed the urgency of their mission. The air in the room grew thick with tension, and their determination was palpable as they prepared to set out on their journey to the mound. The protagonist realized that time was running out, and he needed to act quickly if he wanted to stay one step ahead of them. As the group left the dilapidated building, the protagonist followed, keeping a safe distance to avoid detection. He couldn't shake the feeling that the earthen mound held the key to something much more significant than he initially thought, and he was determined to uncover the secrets that lay within. With each step, he grew more resolute, his eyes fixed on the horizon, and his mind focused on the task at hand. Little did he know, the mound was not merely an entrance to a hidden tunnel system, but the beginning of a perilous journey into the heart of a dark and enigmatic world. The secrets it held would test the protagonist's resolve, and the stakes were higher than ever before. As he ventured deeper into the unknown, he came to realize that sometimes getting lost was only the beginning.
Did you enjoy that captivating short story? Don't miss out on more thrilling tales and enchanting poems. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to join our growing community of story lovers.